Hello, trading is closed on May the 11th, 2021. Our disclaimer always comes first. It's my trading plan for tomorrow, May the 12th, 2021. I can be completely wrong, so all trades should be at your own risk, and please observe the rules of my channel. Look for the pattern with the early high. There it is. Tomorrow has the early low. We had a target of 42.2985. I said it might fail. It certainly did. With major changes in trend, which this certainly could be, MEJT tends to leave a failed target behind. I'm hoping that that's it. We did get to cross some other targets off the list for May 6th, 41.6774, 41.5757. Note the resistance at the lower target. Market never forgets the numbers. Here's what we said. Tomorrow has the early low. The next price target for MEJT, should the decline continue, is 4106.34 from April 9th. Doesn't mean it has to print tomorrow. Should print at some time. When we dropped early on, we got a buy signal on page 120 of my book. It said we're going to get a recovery at some time. Doesn't specify when it starts, but it did start right away. Here, MEJT said this rally was false, that prices would drop, that we'd undercut these lower white lines and find support. We did that right there. That's all played out. We have this as the long-term count. It's actually, for the short term, somewhat positive that we undercut these lines and recovered above them. But usually when you break these lines at this point in the pattern and recover, you break them and don't recover later on. It's also noteworthy the recovery stopped right here, that even though we closed overall the prior lows, the close here, this black line, was under all the prior highs, so the recovery stopped at resistance and didn't accomplish anything. It also stopped right at a 38.2% retracement of the recent drop. The recovery is strong. It should recover up to 61.8%. Maybe it still will, but when you stop at the 38.2, it's a sign of weakness. Now, yesterday I put down the price we hit at yesterday's high, but actually the all-time high is a more significant price, and that came within one handle of our target, which in my opinion increases the chances that that's going to hold. But until some prior lows fall, all bets are off. You could still be proven wrong. You've been fooled before. Tomorrow's pattern has the early low. We could gap up. Typically, it's a rally day with a final hour high. This week instead, we should expect more weakness to follow in the days to come. Here are the rules for mixed signals. We'll use them. It's positive. We gapped down, hit a lower low, closed over all the lows. Unless we gap and promptly undercut the low a day, one should expect to see higher prices. Could we gap down? Well, if that's the right count, we have wave 1 and 2, and that's 3, so where's wave 5? Is this going to be 5? That's 5. Wave 4 and wave 2 look quite the same. It doesn't break any rules, but certainly there's a general principle that wave 4 tends to be longer than 2, and that one of the waves tends to be a direct retracement and one tends to be complex, going over and under the end of the prior wave. So certainly this looks more like a wave 4. So if that's not wave 5, could this be wave 5? Well, to call this a 5-wave structure, you really have to fudge. That looks like a 3 to me. So without a wave 5, And with stalling right at resistance, I think there could be an impulsive wave 5 down. It isn't certainly a guarantee, but it wouldn't surprise me if we gapped down sharply and completed 5 waves down, then recovered the rest of the day. Doesn't mean it's the only pattern that works. It's negative the recovery couldn't clear prior highs, couldn't clear 38.2% retracement line, and couldn't clear MEJT resistance. It's also not easy to count the wave down as being complete. You could make the case the recovery over prior lows and relevant trend lines might be followed by further recovery tomorrow. Breaks no rules. In addition, the volatility index printed a bar completely over its upper Bollinger Band, showing amateurs have developed an unhealthy taste for puts. However, signs of extreme negativity, bearishness, while they're positive late in the decline, are very negative early in the decline. When they come late at a decline, it means everybody wants out at the bottom. When they happen early in the decline, it means everybody wants out right at the top, and there's usually a long way to go. Trendline breaks with recoveries at this point in the pattern tend to be followed by trendline breaks without recovery. Once the prior lows fall with conviction, we should have all we need to call a top. It's most likely already in. But until some prior lows fall and stay down on the daily chart, you can always be tricked, but this certainly is all we need in the wave count and the sentiment indicators and the valuation indicators and just about everything else you want for a top here. So tomorrow has the early low. The commonest thing is a gap and a prompt move outside the day's range. I think futures are up a bit as I'm recording this, but I still think the odds favor wave 5 down, which should be an impulse. And this is the next MEJT target and support level. Doesn't mean it has to print, but if it prints, I would look for support there. There's also some other patterns targeting that area. And that is today's call.